when it relates to carbs and lowering our carbs, naturally the carnivore diet comes to mind. So how do you feel for somebody early on when they're going to adopt low carb, using that as a diet to transition, or even a longer term tool to really bring the carbs down, bring blood sugar down, bring insulin down? How do you feel about that?
I'm totally fine with it. It will almost certainly be ketogenic, unless you're eating a ton of liver, because there's quite a bit of glycogen in liver, a little bit in muscle. So you're going to get some carbs from that. As long as you ensure that you're getting, a balanced diet. And as I said, that's why I eat some things like some nuts and berries and things, because there are phytochemicals in there that are beneficial, I feel. I do know anecdotally from my colleagues that have started to study people that have been on carnivore diets long-term, again, no adverse effects. So nobody's hearts have blown up or anything like that. And tremendous benefits, I would say largely because they're probably in a state of ketosis. So I haven't tried it myself. I keep telling my wife, I need to try going carnivore for a while and see what happens. But I don't think there's going to be any further health benefit for me, but there may be that I don't know about yet. So I haven't done that sample size of one experiment on myself yet. But I would say, again, talk to your physician, but I think it's fine from a nutritional standpoint. What you have to remember is that, if you're going to be, say, vegan and just get all your nutrients from vegetables, first of all, you're going to have to supplement because there are some things that are just not found in vegetables, like B12, right? So you shouldn't have to, on a carnivore diet, you might want to take, some vitamin C if you think you're getting scurvy or something. I would probably vitamin supplement while I was doing it, at least with C and B vitamins, but it's so much more nutrient dense. Like if you eat some like chicken liver or calf's liver or something like that, it's just so much more nutrient dense. So you need to eat so little of it. And if you're in ketosis, you won't be hungry all the time. So I think there are certainly some tremendous benefits. But then you also have to weigh cost. By the way, on the vegan side of it, there's the vegan, I don't eat any animal products of any kind whatsoever. But then there's the vegan, I'm trying to save the planet kind of vegan. So there's often some political things and environmental things attached to it. But from a health perspective, there's nothing unhealthy about a carnivore diet as long as you have appropriate supplementation and are monitoring those things. And again, talk to your physician, but I think it's fine. I've talked to, who's the physician? I was on his show. Boy, I should remember.
Dr. Ken Berry. He's been on the show too.
Yeah, Ken too. But no, there's the other, he's like really, really cut, big carnivore council guy. Oh,
there's a lot of them now.
Talk about it on our next show.
Sounds good. One thing I want to highlight that you brought up, I'd never thought about, if you're taking in a lot of liver, the glycogen in there. I've never thought about it from that perspective. Interesting.
Yeah, it's sugar too. And, liver's great. Like if there's one thing that has everything, it's liver, right? So actually, I recall now that one of the sponsor of your show actually has a product that is made from offal, right? From the organ meats of cattle. And it's...
Who are you thinking of?
It's like heart and liver and something else. Kidney.
Paleo Valley has a triple organ complex that I love. Yes.
Tell them I want to try their product.
I can make that happen.
Yeah, no, that sounds great. And I don't know anything about them. I'm not trying to sell their product for them, but what we should talk about too is societal change and how we need more good ketogenic products for people as the number of people are going to grow consistently. That's another whole sort of, we could talk about the sociopolitics of ketogenic diets too on another show if you want to do that.
Yeah, Dave, a lot of great ideas. We'll bookmark those for next time. One area I want to hit on before we part ways is the protein piece. When we start talking about carnivore diet ketosis, we have gluconeogenesis to consider there when we're taking in that much protein. So when it comes to carnivore, do you find, or do you know a lot about whether those people are in ketosis with that extreme amount of protein? And then how do you feel about protein from somebody that's on an omnivore diet, but consuming a lot of meat? Is that ever a problem kicking people out of ketosis?
Some suggestion that excessive protein, some of the amino acids start getting turned into glucose, but I think that will be self-regulated. One of the problems with excess protein in your gut is it putrefies, especially in your lower gut. But if you're carnivore, people think, well, you're just eating protein, but you're eating animal protein, which has fat. And the fat, again, is way more dense, right? Because think of jerky or whatever, you take all the water out of it and there's not much left there, right? So, but fat is fat. You can't take any water out of a teaspoon of olive oil. It's not an animal thing, or a teaspoon of butter. You can't take it. So that's what it is. So it's much more nutrient dense. And as long as you are not avoiding the fat, like if you had a lean carnivore diet and you just ate kangaroo meat, which is super lean, you'd die. There's something called protein poisoning, and it's so rare. People that eat rabbits, like there was cases in the north where they've only been eating rabbits, which is very lean, and they eventually will die because of what they call protein poisoning. It's a very extreme thing, but as long as you're getting lots of fat in there, so, eat the skin on the chicken, eat the fat on the meat. As I said, tallow and lard are great. Pork rinds done in lard, fantastic. Chicharron, they call them in Mexico, chicharron con carne with the meat on them, fantastic. That should be like candy for you. And that's all fine. As long as you're getting, I would just say don't avoid the fat and don't try and go carnivore lean, just go carnivore high fat. It should be fine.
I do find that is one of the things that come up a lot when I'm talking to people that do a keto diet, the fact that certain proponents of that diet think that protein and being mindful of it is an important part of staying in ketosis. And then you mentioned Dr. Westman. He's somebody that doesn't worry about that and doesn't think that's a factor to stay in ketosis. So it just depends who you talk to. I was curious on how you thought about it.
Yeah, I'd be with Dr. Westman on that one. I think he knows his stuff there. And from what I know of it from Dr. Crystal and Volek and so on, I don't, unless it's like super, super just protein, because you do have essential fats you got to eat.
If you enjoyed that clip, press here for the full episode. I'll see you over there.
7 out of 8 people are overweight or obese, which means they're metabolically unhealthy, which means they're sick. We have a phrase in kinesiology: you cannot outrun your fork. A bad diet is not corrected by a lot of exercise. And we know it's really effective at reducing obesity.